Hello, neighbor. Thank you for joining me tonight here at Crafting in My Corner. I'm Alicia Dolan, and I'm so glad you're here tonight for a two-card Stampin' Sunday class. I'm just going to wait a second and see if anyone joins us and try to see if I can tell if anyone's watching. And I can't yet. So I am, if you're watching now, or if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching the replay, I'm so glad that you're here. I have some cool cards to share with you, or at least I hope that's what they will be. Let's see. I have not sent out the cards from last month yet. So if you placed an order with me last month, you can choose one of my Stampin' Sunday card kits. So I did either 4 or 5, I can't remember for sure, Stampin' Sunday classes last month. And I'll be contacting you to find out which class you'd like to purchase. Now, if you came to my in-person class, that counts as one of the classes. So if you came to an in-person class and you placed an order, you would have got the in-person class completely for free. So that's really the best way. You get the best value that way if you come in person and place an order to get the class for free, or you can pay $25 for the class. Now at the in-person class, the difference is you make 8 cards, so you get 2 each of 4 designs. But tonight we're going to make 2 cards, and I will turn the camera around and we'll get started. Hold on 1 second. Sometimes I can't find the right buttons when I'm looking for them. Okay, I'll be on mute for a second so you won't hear me or see me, but I'll be right back. Okay, now here we are over at our stamping area, and you can see I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat, a little piece of grid paper. It's actually the same piece from last time. My Stampin' Up trimmer. Mortimer over here is holding my glue. And the stamp set that we're going to work with tonight is Growth Takes Time. I think this is a perfect stamp set for the fall, for to make cards to send to teachers who are going back to school, or kids who are going back to school, or people who are starting a new season, or who've come out of a season. So this is a great stamp set. It's only available online, so you will not find this one in a catalog. If you have any trouble placing an order for this, then just let me know and I can help you with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Tonight I am going to start with, this is a piece of copper clay, and it's 8.5 by 5.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this sideways. And this, first we're making a standard card base. Okay, so we're going to score this at 4 1/4. I am trying to watch the comments, but it does say that the live video has ended. So I'm I'm going to keep watching for those comments. And if you can see me, if you can give me a thumbs up, if you can like the video, any of that would be super helpful for me. Because on my end, it's saying that the video is over. Well, I'm really hoping that's not the case. Okay, so I'm gonna press this with my bone folder. So anytime you make a score line, you really want to press it with a bone folder. It just gets that line, it makes it a little tidier. So it's nice to do that. Hi, Kim. I'm glad you're here. I was a little worried because it said on my end, it said the video ended. So thank you for saying hello. I was a little worried about that. Okay, and next we have, I did cut a piece of cinnamon cider, but the more I look at my colors, the more I think I want something a little bit different. So, oops, maybe I don't. Let's see. I think that's a little too blendy, don't you think? Should I go this way? Nope. All right, I need a dark color, I think. Well, I'm going to grab some early espresso. And we're going to cut this at 4. And then turn it sideways and cut it at 5 1/4. Okay, I'm already liking that a little bit better. Okay, so then I've cut some pieces over here. And this is from the pack of paper that's called Earth and Elegance. Now, if you've been watching for a while, you may have seen me use this paper a couple weeks ago, but it was a different pattern. So what we're going to do is we are going to turn that over. And we're going to put our liquid glue around the edge and then a squiggle in the middle. And Mortimer's going to hang on to that for me. If you don't have a Mortimer, I would suggest that you get one, especially if you use liquid glue. It's really helpful to keep your glue with the pointy side down as it ages. When it's brand new, you'll find it doesn't matter so much. Okay, now we're going to glue this right at the bottom. So we're going to line up all the edges and glue that down. Okay, and then tonight we're going to stamp on what's called, hold on, grab it back here. It's shimmery white cardstock. So you'll notice that this isn't, it's not like the basic white and it's not the same color as vanilla, but it's kind of in between the two and it has a real shimmer to it. Now you can use this color. Mortimer is the best. And I'm 100% sure he is from the dollar store. And he's actually a planter. So you might be able to find him on sale right now or one of his friends, I suppose, because there may not be any more Mortimers. But he is actually from the Dollar Tree. the garden section at the Dollar Tree. He's a little cement planter. He's probably meant to hold a little aloe plant or maybe one of those air plants or a cactus. I don't know, but something like that. Okay, so now we have our shimmery white and we're going to take our tree and for this one, I need a larger acrylic block. So I've got block E here. You could also use your Stamparatus. But since you cannot order that right now, I am trying to make sure that I show you in a way with supplies that you can accumulate. All right, and then I need my things are still a little spread out. I came home from camping on Friday, which was actually a day earlier than I was supposed to. And I am still not quite, I haven't quite gotten back in the swing of what I'm supposed to be doing, I suppose. All right, so now we're going to add some Tuxedo Black Memento ink to our stamp. And we're just going to do that by tapping all around on the stamp. And you'll notice I am pressing down, but I'm not swooshing my stamp. Now, I'm pretty sure that swooshing is a technical term, and it just means I'm not pressing down so hard that the ink oozes out onto the stamp. I just want the stamp to be covered. Okay, and now I'm going to stamp down here in the corner, and I'm going to press in the center and then lift up. Now, once again, I'm not swooshing my stamp in. I'm just pressing it with firm pressure. Okay. And I'm going to stamp off over here on the side because I know that black ink will leave extra smudges behind. Okay, so there's that. Actually, I'm going to grab another stamp while we're right here because I have an idea. I know, swooshing is a very technical term, isn't it? It seems like it is, right? Okay, so now on this block, we're going to put this teeny tiny little seedling. Okay. And this time, because my stamp is small, I'm going to tap my stamp on the ink instead of the ink on the stamp. Just because I feel like it'll be a little easier. Okay, and then I'm going to put that little seedling up here. Stamp off and clean my stamp. I'm going to leave it on here because we may need it again. I'm not sure yet. Okay. And now what we want to do is I want to put this little tray here on the front of my card. So let's measure out what size we should make it. That looks about right. That's 2 3/4. Okay, and then if we go, let's see, 3 3/4. Do we want to do that? Let's see how that's going to look on the front of our card. I think that's a good size. And maybe I should have stamped it in brown, but I did not. Okay. And we're going to set this one up here to the side. Okay, I've got ivory and bronze. And I have some cherry cobbler and a little bit of Lost Lagoon. So let's color in our tree. So I'm going to use the ivory first. And ivory and bronze come in a set. Most of the Stampin' Blends, I think, except for the color lifter, come in a set of 2. So first I'm going to color the trunk with the ivory. Now, when you're going over these really skinny areas up here, you want to press really light. Because even with the fine tip, you'll find that it's really easy to get outside the lines. And if you like being outside the lines, then that won't matter to you. But I am a little finicky when I'm coloring, and I do like to stay in the lines. Not in every area of life, but definitely when I'm coloring. Okay. I hope you're enjoying the summer. I feel like the weather has been strange, um, and cooler than normal. So I don't know if that's true 100%, but it's felt that way to me. That it's felt like a strange start of summer. And I think because of that, I don't feel like it should be fall yet. All right, now I'm taking the bronze and I'm going to go over some of these lines that are in the drawing already, because that gives us kind of a good idea where the shadows would be. So I'm just going to try and go along some of those. And this will give our tree trunk a little more color. I just realized when I went to color this that my selection of browns is limited. I have not got all the colors yet in the Stampin' Blends. And brown isn't generally my first choice of color. So if you were to look at my box, you would see that I tend to lean towards the blues. But I haven't seen that many blue tree trunks, so I may need to get more browns. Okay, and then I'm going to go back again with the ivory, and I'm going to go over where I colored that bronze and kind of pull it in a little bit. Now, you can do quite a few layers with these Stampin' Blends, especially if you're using um, watercolor paper or this shimmer paper. It'll hold up to coloring a little better than the basic white or the very vanilla cardstock. Okay, now I'm going to use some Granny Apple Green on my leaves here. But I don't want to get them too much because I kind of want them to be fall colors too. So I'm going to get some green in there. But I'm going to try to make sure I leave room for some other colors. I feel like I got really quiet. Sometimes I get a little quiet when I'm coloring. Maybe you can tell that I'm concentrating a little bit. I'm hoping that I can get back into my craft room a little more often soon. This summer, I feel like I had big plans to be down here and creating all kinds of stuff, but that hasn't worked out like I had hoped it would. I do get some time. I always think it might be easier if my craft room was upstairs, but then I feel like it probably wouldn't. I'm probably making that up in my mind. All right, now this is Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to add some of that in here. This is probably one of my new favorite colors. I really like this Lost Lagoon. All right, and then we'll use a little cherry cobbler because it's fall, right? And we need some red, bright red in our leaves. I really hope this will match. I think it will match all right with our. All right, and then I don't think I have any orange, but I do have some yellow. I know that pumpkin pie was on my list last year of things to order, and somehow I must have skipped it. sometimes my list of things to order is much longer than my budget allows for. And so pretty often I have to go back and tweak my order and take a few things off, things that aren't specific to an upcoming class. So there's all the colors that we use. We use ivory and bronze. We use Granny Apple Green, Lost Lagoon. This is Daffodil Delight and Cherry Cobbler. So we used quite a few blends this time. I'm going to set those off to the side in case we need, oh, you know what? We do need them again because we didn't finish our little seedling. Okay. So we're going to color that with the ivory. Then I'm going to add some bronze. Okay, I'll go over it with a little more ivory, kind of smooth it out a little. You can also do that with the color lifter. Either way will work. All right, and then this one. Hello, Jillian. I know, budgets are tough, aren't they? I really would like to get everything, but I've been having to cut back a little here and there. Okay, so there's our tiny seedling. And here's our tree. So now what I'm gonna do, I feel like we need some ribbon. Let's see. I think maybe this gold ribbon. I wish there was a silver ribbon like this. Not that it would match with this project, but I really do wish there was a silver ribbon like this. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and wrap it around. I have to tell you while we're looking at this, okay, here is another piece of this paper. I really think this looks like layers of cake. Doesn't that look like frosting dripping down a delicious sort of chocolate cake? All right. Now that we're all hungry. Or maybe I'm just hungry. I went to the store earlier and I bought all kinds of snacks that I really have no business buying. So, but I went right after a meeting where we were talking about tacos of all things, and I couldn't help buying some snacks. Taco night is one of my favorites. Okay, so we're gonna scoot this bow over to the side here. And I'm gonna make sure that it goes over it's really being stubborn right now. I wanna make sure it goes over the paper there and it keeps getting caught. There it goes. Okay. So there's our bow. Okay, and we may have to scoot it depending on where our tree goes here in a second. But I'm gonna cut it off for right now because otherwise it's gonna be in the way. All right, so here is our bow. And I'm gonna want my tree to go here. I want my little seed up here in the corner. So I'm going to need to find a circle to cut that out with. Let's see. I think there'll be one here in the stylish shapes. That should be just the right size. So let's see. There we go. So that's the second one in, out from the middle. And I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. Okay, so there's our little seedling. There's our extra bits. I'm going to put this stylish circle right back in its place so it doesn't get lost. All right, now we're going to, let's see. Let's make sure this bow is not going to be in the way before we get going here. All right, so I think we're going to need to make it either a little bit smaller or try to get it to go a little more sideways here. And I feel like that's kind of usually the tricky part, is getting the bow to go exactly the way that you want it to. And we can always stick some glue dots under it if we need to. Okay, let's trim the ends. Just like that. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. I really look forward to Stampin' Sundays. And I missed it last week. Okay, we're going to put our liquid glue around the edge. We're going to leave a spot for our finger. And we're going to put a squiggle down the middle. Okay, and then we can glue this right on the front of our card. Okay, and then we're going to turn our tree over. And you can see that even though this paper is a little bit thicker, it still bled through there a little bit. The Stampin' Blends did. Now, Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based markers, where the Stampin' Write markers are water-based. So they're different types of markers, different coloring tools. The Stampin' Blends tend to be a little bit softer, and they do blend together much easier than the Stampin' Write markers do. Okay, so here is our, wasn't quite ready for it to try to stick down yet. So here is our tree. And then we need another Stampin' Dimensional for our little seedling. And we're going to put that right up here in the corner. And I'm going to stamp on a piece of this shimmer paper, just so that everything matches well. I'm a little annoyed. Hold on a second, because I think that this is more crooked than it should be. When I sat that down, it was a little bit crooked. Okay, there, that's better. Sometimes if your Stampin' Dimensionals haven't stuck all the way yet, you can peel them up a little bit and stamp them. Yes, the Stampin' Right markers you can color on the stamps, but the Stampin' Blends you cannot. That will ruin, it will ruin them. Not the Stampin' Blend, but the, it'll actually ruin the stamp because the alcohol in there will break down the material in the stamps. Oh, I just noticed that I'm sideways. Oh, did you guys tell me that and I missed it? Hold on 1 second and I'll switch the. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I did not realize that sooner. And I've been watching for comments, but I obviously did not see that I was sideways. Okay. Anyways, I have some smaller pieces of this. In one of my little stash envelopes here. This is a really great way to store your scraps. So if you haven't seen me do this before, you can get these clear envelopes. It's like 50 of them for maybe $6 or $7. But they're really great for stacking your scraps in. And then when you need a piece for a sentiment, you have little scraps. Although it's kind of looking like all my scraps are a little too small. So I'm gonna have to cut another one up. But that's okay. I'll have them for the next time. All right, and I want to use Be Patient, Your Time Will Come. But I think that's too big. So maybe Look How Far You've Come. And then I could actually go back and use my scrap piece here. I can't believe I was sideways all that time and I didn't. All right, so we've got Look How Far You've Come. We're going to stick that right here on our block H. And this time I am going to stamp it in Early Espresso because I'm not going to be coloring this in and I want it to match with my colors. Okay. Oh, and it's crooked. Hold on. Let me try and get it straight. That's 2 in a row. Okay. The third one's a charm, right? There we go. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to close this up before I get my fingers in there. And we're just going to trim the ends of that. I can use the back side of that for something else. So, all right. And then let's put it here at, let's see. I think maybe 1 7/8. So it's 1 inch by 1 7/8. Okay, and then I am going to cut a little piece to go around it. So then I need, we're going to go with 1 1/8. By 2. All right, let me make sure that I measured that right. Yeah, okay. So we're going to turn our sentiment over. We're going to put a little liquid glue on the back. Thank you, Mortimer. He's over there working hard, holding my glue. All right, and we're going to glue that right in the center. And because I want to put it down here, I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on the back down here at the corner, and then just a glue dot up here on the right. So now quickly, before I forget, I'm going to put that glue dot right up in the corner. And then put a mini dimensional in the opposite corner. And we can peel the back off of that. And we can stick that sentiment right here. And look how cute that is. I think that is a really great fall card. Okay, so there is the first one. Okay. Next, I've got some crumb cake here. Okay, and this piece is 3 by 4. Well, let's see. So we can do, I think this one is 4. All right, so this time we're gonna score, it's 5.5 by 8.5 again. Right, wait, hold on, let me double check. Yep, okay. So we're gonna score it again at 4 1/4. And we're gonna fold it in half. Press it with our bone folder, and we're gonna use the same measurements for this card, but we're gonna turn it a little. So we're gonna go this way. Okay, and then, hold on, grab the wrong piece. This piece should be 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so it's gonna go this way. And we're gonna glue this piece here like this. Okay. So first, we're going to put our liquid glue on the back of the copper clay. Squiggle down the middle. And we're going to glue that right to the front of the card. Okay, and then we're going to turn our piece of designer series paper over. And this is the same from the same pack. So we're using from the Earth and Elegance pack tonight. And we're using copper clay, crumb cake, and early espresso cardstock, along with some shimmer cardstock. I really like the shimmer cardstock. I don't think you can see it as much in the video, but it is really pretty. And these cards tonight are the design is cased from Michelle Littwiller, because I went to a team meeting today, and this was our these were the dimensions for our mystery card. Okay, so there is our card. And this time we're going to do be patient, your time will come. And I think we're going to do this little tiny seed and the watering can. Or we could do growth takes time. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right, so here is our little seed. Here is our watering can. All right, and we need a piece of shimmery cardstock. And this time we're going to do, let's see, what did we do before? 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let's keep it the same. So we'll do 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, and this time it's going to go this way. So we're going to stamp our little seedling. This time I am going to, let's see, am I going to stamp it in brown? I do believe I am. Now, the only thing you want to be careful about when you're stamping with what do I want to say? Classic ink is that if you color over top of it, it can bleed into whatever you're coloring. Okay, so there is our early espresso. And I'm going to stamp my watering can in Memento because I am going to color it. Okay, just like that. All right, and then let's color it again. And we'll use the same colors. So we're going to color the little heart with the cherry cobbler. I'm trying really hard to stay in the lines. I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but I am trying really hard. Okay, and let's do Lost Lagoon for the blue. That'll be like our little water droplets. Let's use yellow for our watering can. It'll be nice and bright. Daffodil Delight. Another way that you can stop your colors from bleeding, I just thought of this and I wanted to tell you, is if you use Versamark ink and then you emboss it, then the ink cannot cross those lines and it would have to stay where you put it. You will notice it fuzzes out a little bit, but embossing it would change all of that. Okay, that was the ivory and bronze on the seed. I guess it would be the seed, the seed, because the plant comes from the inside of the seed. Okay, and then we'll use a little bit of ivory here to kind of put a little bit of ground beneath the seed. So we don't want it to look like it's kind of floating out there. Okay, so there is our seed. And it looks kind of plain, doesn't it? It's a little lonely here. Okay, so let's make a little background for our image. So we did 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So for the next layer, we'll do 3 by 4. Okay, and we'll put those together. Little glue around the edge, and then squiggle down the middle. All right, and then we're going to put this on the front. So let's use some Stampin' Dimensionals. Right, let's see. I think we want it to be a little further to the right. And then we can put our sentiment up here in the left. And we're going to say, be patient, your time will come. And we're going to stamp again on the shimmery white. And we're going to use our early espresso. We're going to tap, tap, tap on our ink. Now you will find that the classic inks the ink pad, the foam is softer than what it is on Memento or stays on. So when you're stamping, you'll just want to keep that in mind. And remember not to smoosh, because it's much easier to smoosh your classic ink or your Versamark ink. So those are the ones you really want to watch your smooshing with. Don't be smooshing them. There is our stamp, and I'm just gonna clean this other one off because I noticed I forgot it earlier. Okay. So here's our sentiment, and we're gonna put it up here. So let's use our snips and trim around it. So we're gonna kind of fussy cut it, but we're not gonna cut it really close. And if you're not really comfortable fussy cutting, you can draw a pencil line around it and then just cut inside of that pencil line. Or you could always cut it out. Oh no, my finger must have been down. And I smudged that ink. All right, I have to stamp a new one. Hold on. Maybe we should just cut it out. Okay. I cannot handle the smudges. All right. So if I hadn't already tried to cut it out, I would probably just turn it over and cut again. But since I had already started cutting, I was not going to do that. Okay, this time, let's see if we can find a die that will fit around our sentiment. All right, let's try our stylish shapes die and see what we did already use a circle. Let's see, these ones are too small. You know what? I think we can use a circle again. That one looks just right. Okay, so that's the third one in from the outside. These are the stylish shapes dies. I really like these. You get some circles and squares and a few little banners that are perfect for a lot of these sentiments. Right. Okay, so when we cut our circle out, this is what we get. Yeah, I don't like smudges. Sometimes I will cover them up. If they're just tiny ones, I'll cover them up with a sparkle or a ribbon or both. But I don't like them to be showing. Okay. Oh, see, I think that will be perfect. But then what do we need down here? I'm not sure. Okay, we're gonna see in a minute. Maybe we need this other little tree over here. Let's see. I don't know. It might be too much. Okay. So we're just going to go with the circle for now. And maybe we can get a little bow in there. Okay. I feel like I'm being difficult tonight, but I'm really probably no more difficult than I normally am. Okay, so we're going to put our Stampin' Dimensional right here. And that'll give us just enough space. And then we'll grab a glue dot and stick that on the other side. Okay. So we're going to stick this right here. Be patient. Your time will come. And then our card opens this way this time. And I do feel like we need a little something right here. I wonder. I feel like maybe I should have moved it a little farther down. Let's see if maybe we can get that through there. Well, that's going to cover up our little seed. I don't want to do that. Okay, I tell you what we'll do. We'll just add some little gems. And I think these, will these be the right ones? Yes, they will. Thank you, Anne. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you made it. Okay. I lost my. Okay, here's my take your pick tool. And I'm going to grab some of these little copper clay dots. And I'm just going to spread them around over here on the side. And I think that's going to add just enough. Oh, maybe might need just a couple more. One over here. Where should it go? Okay. And maybe one right there. Okay, so there is our second card for tonight. So if you want to get this 2-card class, you would actually get 4 cards. So you get the supplies to make 2 each of both of these cards. And I will send them to you, but you have to place a $35 order using the host code that I'm going to post in the description later. Now, the way that I worked it last month was for any order, you would get to choose one of that month's class. So I'm going to be contacting the people who placed an order to see which class they would like to receive. Or if you place an order that's $35 or more, which is the qualifying amount for the class, then you can come to my in-person card class for free. Or you can receive one of the Stampin' Sunday card classes. I hope that you enjoyed our cards tonight, and I will see you next Sunday. Until then, happy stamping.